Hi everybody. Hey, it's Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates. Thank you so much for joining me this Sunday evening. And I just want to show off the gorgeous, beautiful cards that were created using the latest August Paper Pumpkin Kit. It is the Hope box. Beautiful, just beautiful. I love the colors. There were 9 cards, 3 each of these 3 designs, and let me tell you something, they went together so super fast. So I am ready to send out some encouraging cards to some friends and family members. So I decided to now use the stamp set, because you always get a stamp and spot and a stamp set in all of the Paper Pumpkin kits. So I decided I was going to use the stamp set and create some cards for you tonight. So I hope I don't have too much glare on this, but here is the stamp set. And I really like it. I do. So anyway, let's get started. First up, let me gather these up so I can then show you the cards that I created. So, very simple is what they are. Oops. This one just, it looks more difficult than honestly it is. So let's go ahead and let me show you how I did these. So I'm going to start with the very first one here, that you can make a bunch of these because, like I said, super simple. The supplies that I use for the products here, I have a piece of the Brights Designer Series paper, the paper pack. It was on my desk, so I thought I might as well use it. I'm trying to keep with most of the colors that are included in this Paper Pumpkin kit. So this happens to be the Melon Mambo, 5.5 by 3.5. And my cardstock then is the thick white, basic white here. So I'm going to just go ahead and adhere this straight down. Where did I put? Here it is. And I don't know why I wait until Sunday when I know I'm doing my Facebook Live, but that's when I decide to make my cards. So I'm usually very frazzled and disorganized. I mean, I feel like I am anyway, but even more so on Sunday evenings when I go to do my Facebook Live, because I just did not give myself enough time to prepare. So bear with me. How's that? So this is one of the advantages / disadvantages of the liquid glue, is that things move around on you whether you want them to or not. All right, so there's my 3.5 by 5.5. This little strip, it's just 1/2 inch, and it's what I cut off of this piece. That's it's 6 by 6 is what that is. So I just saved it, and I am going to now just pop this on the inside. I cut it down to 5 1/4, so it's 5 1/4 by 1/2 inch, and I'm just gonna pop it right here. All right, so there's the inside done. The outside is almost done, so don't blink because you might miss it. I used the sentiment out of that stamp set, stamped it on with Bermuda Bay ink, and I had a stack of some white circles that I had punched out. So I thought, why not use them? So this measures about like 1/2 inch, 1.5 inches. Oh, I'm still stuck on that 1/2 inch strip. This is about a 1.5 inch circle. And then the layering circles die has one that's 1 5/8. So it's a perfect then to layer up. So I have that together. I'm going to adhere it down. Let me show you this stunning die here. Let me just get this put down real quick first. It comes from this It is the die called Encircled in Beauty. This is a die set. It is in a bundle. Again, I have to move all kinds of stuff around here. The bundle is Encircled in Friendship. So when you purchase the two of them together, this is in the annual catalog, you'll save 10%. These dies are stunning. I mean, look at the beautiful filigree, swirly, whirly, twirly stuff that's on here. It's really awesome. So I just have those all adhered together, and believe it or not, I am not gonna pop this up. I know, I just heard some gasps coming from you. But yeah, I've decided I want to leave this simple, flat, and there we go. I will, though, embellish it. I almost didn't. I almost left it as is, but then I changed my mind. I thought I would put on a few little of these metallic pearls, and I'm going with the silver. So just hitting up 3 of them. Now in the kit, they have sequins in that, and you'll laugh, I don't know where I put them. You would think they would be back in the box or something like that, but nope, can't find them. So I'm going with some other embellishments that I was able to find. So anyway, here we go. Just a note of hope. Quick and simple. All right, next up is going to be, where did it go? This card. Now this is where I went a little off the track as far as the colors go. This box, paper pumpkin box, does not use the balmy blue, but I am in love with balmy blue and the pale papaya together. I think it's because it's part of the peach, sweet as a peach, or whatever the peach set is in there. So that, I really do like that combination there. So, all right. I stamped on some scrap paper the butterfly, just using some of the Tuxedo Black ink, cut it out. So that's what I have here. And I'm going to go ahead and do some coloring with my blends on that. My sentiment is 3/4 of an inch wide that I did the banner cut on. The length, I honestly don't know. I just kind of trim everything. When it comes to my sentiment strips, I just trim accordingly. So that's that one. And this piece, and it is from the peach paper, it is 3.5 by 2.5. The pale papaya is then 5.25 by 4. And I ran it through the Tasteful Texture embossing folder. I like deciding which side. You can always, that's one thing with the embossing folders. You can pick which side you want to have showing. So that's kind of the fun thing with this one. So I'll think about it. Balmy blue, 8.5, 5.5. That score line is at 4.25. And then I just have some white on the inside, and I stamped that butterfly again there. So, all right, let me go ahead and adhere this down. So like I said, you pick whatever side you want to be on the front. And that's what's fun about embossing folders. I do put a lot of adhesive then on whenever I am adhering an embossed layer down or putting something on top of embossing. I just feel like I need that extra adhesive, that extra stick to happen there. So, all right, so let's let that get a chance to dry. I'm going to come on in, and I am going to color my butterfly. Now, I'm using my blends. All right. Now, the funny thing is, I usually try and keep it within the same color. That's what's nice about the blends, is they have a light and a dark. So this is light and dark pumpkin pie. This is light and dark of the pale papaya. Today though, excuse me, I'm going to mix them. I'm going to use the dark pumpkin pie and the light pale papaya. And that's what I did here on the sample. Let me bring it up, see if I can get it up a little closer without causing it to blur. And I just really like that, that look. It's the same, but yet not at the same time. So I am not an expert when it comes to the blends. I just do what I like to do with them. So here on these circles here of the butterfly, I will just go ahead and color them in just to add little dots here. Now I'm going to come in with, again, with the dark pumpkin pie, just add a few little lines. And then while that's still kind of on the wet side, so to speak, I will blend with that light pale papaya. I like to go in a circular motion right over top of that pumpkin pie. Now, usually I try and leave a little bit of white space then in there too. So let me show you again. Here we go. So on this side, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do. If I blended out too much of the color and I wanted it to be a little darker again here, I will go back in with my dark color, but normally I'm just sticking with the way it ends up. So just kind of going in a circular motion over top of that line of the dark, and then that's it. That's all I'm doing. There's not a lot of room there, so really you can use any coloring medium that you want. I really like these blends. With some of the other alcohol markers, there is just too many to pick from. And that's why I like the blends, because you can just go with light and dark. That's it. So there we go. Let me just get this blended in. I like to try and work initially kind of quickly because I want to be able to blend it. So that first layer that I put down is still kind of wet. So I like to be able to go over and blend it during that time. So one of the things to be aware of, that the blends do bleed through. So just make sure you're aware of that. Okay. So let me set that aside. Let me pull this out for right now, and let's get this card together. So I'm going to bring this back in, my designer series paper, the 2.5, excuse me, by 3.5. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down onto that embossed pale papaya. Yes, I just really like that orangey papaya with this light blue. Really, really like that. Now I'm going to adhere the strip, the sentiment strip, and the butterfly together. Now I want the butterfly to be kind of like I don't want him straight up and down, in other words. So I'm going to go ahead, get some adhesive on here, and let's get that put together. So I have a crooked butterfly. Hopefully when I mount it onto the card front, I don't have also a crooked sentiment strip, because I've been known to do that. So time to now I'm going to get my dimensionals on here. So I couldn't go for very long without using dimensionals on something. Popping things up are my thing. Okay, so here we go. Well, let's go ahead and get this down. These sentiments are just so inspiring. They just so supportive. So that's why I really, really like this kit. And there we go. All right, so there's the butterfly. I'm going to use a couple of these genial gems, actually is what they're called, and this is the pale papaya color. The green is mint macaron. So let's go ahead and get a couple of these down When it comes to the embellishments, again, I think you've heard me say I usually like to do it in 3s or 5s. I mean, that's, you know, odd numbers, I guess, in other words. But I also like to do, whenever there are several different sizes, I like to use a large with a smaller one, and then it doesn't matter whenever it's the single one, but I do like to have my 2 different sizes here. So, but generally I do find myself doing 1 large and 2 of the smaller whenever I do that. So, all right, so here we go. The second card is done. Where there is faith, miracles happen. All right, next, the final one. Let me bring in my scratch paper, because we're going to create a background on this one. I cut out, using the stitched rectangle dies, this frame. So whatever size you want it, the biggest size you want, skip the next one below it, because they're layering in sizes. They progress up in size. So you'll skip one and do the one right below it. So that's how I got this thickness of that's about 1/2 inch. That's how I got the thickness of this frame. If you want yours thinner, then just go, 2 of them that are the very next one smaller than whatever your biggest one is that you've decided on. So it's fun. Just layer them into your die cut machine over your cardstock, run it through, boom. You've made instant frame. So, all right, let me get out all of my papers for this. So I have a card base. It's top folding, Bermuda Bay. For this, that means it is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Inside, I just have a piece of white that I've stamped on there. I have, for my front, my white here is, let me think, 3 3/4 by 5. This is Pool Party, and it is just 1/8 of an inch bigger. So that means it is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So I'm going to work on this white piece right here, get the stamping going there. So I'm going to just, hang on, let me just kind of clear off my spot a little bit. So, all right, so here we go. I have 3 of the stamps from the set. The 4th, this circle, is a surprise where it came from. So let me bring in my ink colors. Again, I'm trying to keep with the ink colors of the kit. So I have Pool Party, I have Bumblebee, and I have Flirty Flamingo. I just happened to grab this little stamping spot that I have. So, all right, so I'm going to start with the butterfly. This is how I like to do my backgrounds. I honestly love to do them randomly. There's no true thing no hard fast rule, I guess I should say, but I always like to try to have at least 3 different stamps, sizes, or images. So I'm calling this butterfly the biggest out of everything. So I start with my largest. So then I'm going to just rotate it, and then here's where I know some people tell me, oh, you have to do it in 3rds, and you have to do this and have to do that. I am such not a rule follower, I guess I should say, that yeah, I just like to do what makes me happy when I'm stamping. So that's what I recommend to you. But look how I'm turning my paper. That I do feel is very important to do. Otherwise, it does begin to look like a pattern, and I also like to stamp off of the cardstock. I don't want it to be all included in there, so that helps with kind of the randomness there. So, all right, next up is this little flower arrangement here, and that I'm going to do in the Bumblebee. So let's go ahead and from here now, I just start looking for space. What is empty? Where is the white space? And again, make sure to rotate your cardstock around. You might have to rotate the stamp if you want to fit something in where it needs to go. So make sure you're doing that. Random. That's all I can say when it comes to stamping a background, is to make sure it is random. All right, now still kind of looks like a hot mess. Let's keep it, just keep it going here. We have 2 more things to fill in with. All right, now I'm going to use my smallest. Well, I guess in this case it's the next to the smallest, but my smallest image is this little butterfly. So here's where all of these little tiny spaces I can really fill in with. All right, again, making sure you rotate your stamp, your paper. Find out where else. Okay, whoops. I want another one right there. Let me see if I can fit this guy in here. Sorry, I hope I don't bump the camera. There we go. He fit in there nicely. And this one. All right, I gotta do one more somewhere. This is looking, I know, sorry, you're getting dizzy watching me flip this around. But sometimes I'm gonna leave it at this for right now. Okay, right now I'm gonna leave it alone. So let's go ahead with that flirty flamingo and put that back. Now, are you ready for this? I have Bermuda Bay, going to be my very last. The tiny stamp that I'm going to use actually is not a stamp. This circle is an eraser, a pencil eraser. So all I'm going to do is ink that up, and there we go. Perfect little circle. Perfect thing to fill in where you need it. So it's just filler, I guess. Again, find out where you need it, where you want to add that darker color. Pop it down. Don't be afraid to go off the cardstock. Always kind of step back and look at it, make sure it's coming along nicely. One rule to always keep in mind is the less is more. You will know when you have hit your limit. So let me look at it. I feel like I need one more dark up in here somewhere. So you will see, you'll see if you need something. And I think I need one more. Here I am preaching less is more, and I keep saying just one more. So anyway, all right, now there. So I've cleaned off my eraser. I don't know that I will use that as an eraser now, but it makes the perfect little stamp when you need some filler. Okay, let's go ahead and adhere this down now to the pool party that we have. So it's time to put this together. All right. And you can figure out which direction you prefer as far as which side is up. It should look good no matter what, but sometimes there's always one direction that you feel a little more like, ah, that's the way I like it. So I don't know why this is the way I feel like I want it to go. So that's the way it will go. This will get adhered now directly down to my card base. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, all of my talk about the paper pumpkin kit. Next month, the September one, is a treat holders is what you will create, which is perfect for this time of year of Halloween. So if you're interested in starting a subscription, let me know. Stop over to my blog, Linda Lou Creates. Across the top, you'll see some buttons to click on, and it'll take you right to my paper pumpkin page, so you can do that. Now, here is the frame. I told you how I made that with the stitched rectangles. Now, I just went ahead and adhered the foam adhesive strips to it. These generally are meant for making shaker cards because of being the skinny and very flexible, that if you have like odd shapes or round shapes, you can easily bend it around any shape you need. But tonight I just needed it for this straight line. So let me go ahead if I can get, there we go. Now, initially I had wanted to put it on the, make it cockeyed, but for some reason I decided to keep it straight up and down. I don't know what made me do that, but I kind of preferred it going straight up and down like this. My sentiment, again, comes from that stamp set, Hope. I used Bermuda Bay ink. Pool Party on the is what it's stamped on, and then the scallop oval, and that is all thanks to this double oval punch. All right, so I adhered them together. Now I'm going to put it right here. I like it in that corner. So I know that I need some dimensionals behind this or something to pop that up. I am actually going to use a couple pieces of these adhesive strips. So this is what they look like. They are already cut, and you just cut them down to size. But like I said, look how you can bend them around as you need them to be bent. So that's what's really nice about them. So, all right, let me just cut a chunk here so I have something to work with, so I know where I want this. So approximately that much is going to be overhanging. So I will just do that, and then let's go ahead and yeah, I love my dimensionals, so even this I will do a little overkill with it, so that's what I do. So there we go. All right, so I am putting it here, so I'm going to just put a little bit of adhesive right here. All right, I wanted to use, I don't know if there's a difference in the thickness of these foam strips versus the dimensionals. I honestly don't know that. So that's why I wanted to still use them so that it matches what I put underneath the frame. Does that make sense? So, all right. Let me bring this down just a smidge. And I'm going to go back to my little metallic pearls here and pop 2 of them on. I know I just got done talking about, oh, do it in 3s, do it in odd numbers. But I'm messing with you now. I am just putting on the 2. So there we go. This one's a little more involved just because of the cutting out of the frame and creating your own background. Can you believe there's no DSP on this? Don't need it because you created your own. So, all right. So let's bring them all back in. I gotta make some room for it all. Okay, so here, And where are you? Here. Here are the 3 cards today using the Hope Box stamp set, the Paper Pumpkin stamp set from this month. So like I said, if you're interested or have any questions regarding Paper Pumpkin, please don't hesitate to write them down there in the comments. I appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging with me for a little bit on a Sunday evening, and I hope you have a great week. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much. Bye now.